Yeah, good morning, good morning.
Grand Rising,
Yes,
Grand
yes,
Rising,
yes,
Grand
yes.
Rising.
Peace.
How you doing today?
Good, good, good. You been working out again?
I'm actually down.
Yeah, I could tell your handshake feel different.
Well, I started again, then I got an injury and
got
went
it.
down. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
I'm
feel the
feeling
roughness?
Yeah, you do. No, like pull-ups or something, it changes your grip.
Yeah.
Not that it felt weak, but I sensed the difference, so that's good.
All right.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. So today's topic is family
Yeah, family
and the rule around family no matter what, right?
what does that
Yeah,
mean?
how healthy is that understanding?
Yeah, and what is the thinking behind all of this? Yes. Let's do it. Let's do it.
I'm Mahogany,
I'm Ish.
and this is Culture Currency.
With culture.
Is the values.
Right.
Yes.
All right. So one thing I wanted to talk about is just patterns, because when I think about family and family, no matter what, I think about forgiveness, right? And also the notion that all family is in blood, which as you get older, you grow to know that. Like sometimes you create your circle, and these people are your family for different reasons.
Absolutely.
So I would like to break that down. But one thing that definitely came to me was forgiveness. One for me, because I've had to forgive a few people in my family for transgressions, right? But the thing about that is, even in forgiving, because they're family, the behavior cannot persist, right? I mean, so it's really like a conditional forgiveness. It's like, I forgive you, but we're not gonna keep going through this. And I think that sometimes family, no matter what, a lot of folks accept constant violations from people in their family because they're family. It's like, nah, that's my family. But it's like, y'all robbing each other, y'all doing this, y'all doing all these kind of things. Why?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The healthier you become mentally and emotionally, you start to realize that there's no such thing as unconditional anything. Everything has a condition.
Right. Right.
So I always push back on like the unconditional love and all these different things.
Right.
There's always a condition. The condition is reciprocation.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So there's always a condition. And I wanted to start off by going into the fact that I don't believe in traditions for tradition's sake, right? I believe in traditions if they work for you in your lifestyle, who you are, right? If they add to it, not take away from it, right? So I don't just implement things just because it's been going on, right? And one thing about our culture is the understanding that when someone is born into something, they have absolutely no choice but to stick with what they was born into.
Right.
And I don't agree with that.
Right.
I think the premise of why the thought process was created was a positive one, right? I think that we need to hold space for our relations, right? I think that we need to hold understanding for our relations. We need the ability to make error amongst the people that we are closest to, growing up with, all of those things.
Right.
So that should go without saying, but I'm saying it because we're on this platform.
Right.
Outside of that, I think that the statement that this is your family no matter what neglects the understanding that family are human beings.
That's right.
And human beings are faulty. And we're not looking for lack of fault because all of us have it.
Right.
However, with the closeness of relationships comes a different level of responsibility and expectation.
Right.
I'm not going to feel, I'm going to be bothered by anybody violating me or disrespecting me or whatever.
Right.
But there's a different level of understanding when someone who I'm open to, close to, vulnerable with, taking that vulnerability and using it to their advantage. Right? And that's what family has the capability of doing.
Right, because they're the closest to you.
Exactly. So I don't believe in that statement because I believe that healthy interactions are what we need and deserve.
Right.
Right? And when you make that statement, you're saying, no matter how you treat me, I'm not going nowhere.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to discuss.
And that's what the unconditional love thing is. Like, no matter what, I'm here. Ain't no matter what.
No, there's
But the
conditions.
thing about family, and I have to say, because I would say there's traditions in my family. Like, we're, a close family unit no matter what. You know what I'm saying? We're family. But I do believe, like, as you get older and you get healthier, you realize that at some points there are cutoff points to things. You know what I mean? And your family, no matter what, but I'm not going to see nobody violate you. And I'm acting like I don't know you. I'm just walking by. So there is certain... I don't know, like privileges or certain responses to things that I will always have for members of my family. But I'm definitely at the point in my life where you can't violate in a certain way, and me and you are still going to be good. But I was taught that because we're family, it's like move on. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm big on stating that I let my principles govern all of my relations in my life period, right? And that's across the board, family, friends, acquaintanceships, whatever. So with that being said, I can do my human duty for anybody, even if not my family. I remember I had in high school, a young lady I did not get along with. And when I say didn't get along, like I didn't like her at all. And it was like a disdain. Like I really didn't like this girl. But I came out of school and seen her getting jumped by a girl and her boyfriend. I jumped in for her.
Right.
Not because I like her.
Right.
But because it's the right thing to do. I don't like anything that goes against my principles. I don't like bullies.
Right.
I don't like unfair treatment.
Right.
So I'm going to step up for that.
As a human.
And as a human. So bringing it back to our conversation, if you're governing your life according to your principles, then you understand, okay, I don't deal with this cousin. However, because this is my cousin, I'm not going to let any harm come by them.
Right.
I'm not standing by letting harm come by anyone.
Right, got you.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's as far as that goes.
Right.
Because if you have violated to the point that I need to create separation, you lack the understanding that I'm actually related to you. Right? I'm supposed to keep the understanding that we're in relation, but you don't have that same understanding.
Right.
This is a mutually beneficial relationship, as all are.
Right.
So the reciprocation process
must be there.
It must be there.
So do we take intent versus impact into consideration there? Where
I think we take that in everywhere.
Right. Right. Because sometimes people have ingrained habits, you know what I'm saying? And because you grew up with these people, the boundaries have to also move with the maturity of the relationships and stuff as well. But some people could treat you like, oh, you're alone, whatever. And as you get older, it's like, yo, nah, all that is dead. This is different now. And sometimes people could be stuck in Old Ish or Old Mahog or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Where the boundaries feel different, and it's like you have to learn that these things are no longer okay. Maybe never okay, but at one point in my life we were able to get away with this. But do it again is gonna be a different.
Hard no now.
Yeah, it's a hard no now.
Well, you know the statement, you teach people how to treat you.
Yep.
I really believe in that. And that goes with family as well. I let it be known. I don't do that.
Right.
I don't like that. I don't respect that.
Right.
I make these statements so that you know exactly who you're dealing with and you know how I want to be dealt with.
Right.
So it's not that you are cutting people off on the first issue.
Right.
No. You're teaching them how to treat you by letting them know, like, yeah, that's not okay.
Right.
Don't do that with me.
That's right.
If you ignore that constantly, then you're telling me that you don't respect me.
Yeah, you don't. Right.
So what am I doing here?
What are we doing here? Very good. I'm very happy that you're clearly stating this, because the thing about forgiveness also is really, like you said, is addressing problematic behavior, and then it has to actively be worked on. You have to actively work on that. Don't just tell me you're sorry or my bad or like, damn, how I did that, and then you're still showing signs of that same person that harmed us in the first place. But I love the point you made that if you're still acting like this, then you don't see me as family or what I define as family. That was key. That was good.
Yeah, I've had a scenario with a family member who was constantly trying to bring me back together with someone I cut off that's in the family. And within this process, what this family member didn't realize that they were translating to me is that they were aligning with someone who was against me, not with me, right? If someone can constantly, not one time, not two times, but if they continuously do stuff to devastate your world, and a person can advocate for them, whose side are you actually on?
Right. You could look at it like that, or what is your understanding of healthy relationships? Because I can't take advice from you or anything because you are obviously sick. If you think this is okay, and like just deal with it because I was born into this circle. And who said I gotta stay in this circle? I'm not a kid anymore.
Absolutely.
You must be kidding me.
Absolutely. If you're advocating for the opposite side, then you're advocating against me. And that's what a lot of people do not recognize when I understand that your intention may be togetherness.
Right.
One of the things that made me say I wanted to start the Culture Currency show and that I wanted to do the Oliver Legacy Academy is the understanding that I have that we need unity.
Yes.
Right? And one thing I continuously said is there's a lot of steps between separation and unity, right? And some of those steps are the principles, trust.
Right.
If we have an element of distrust amongst us, how are we getting together?
Yeah.
If we have an element of disrespect amongst us, how are we getting together? Right? So the entire thought process around this is making sure that we handle the understanding of what it takes to be together, why those boundaries exist,
Right.
and understand that there is no absolute when it comes down to relations.
Right.
If you're not abiding by what the standard is, health is the standard.
Right.
So there's a lot of different ways that we could be addressing things. And I'm sure, like, I think the beauty of this show is the fact that both of us explain things differently. Both of us have similar point of views, but varies in areas, right? The beauty of that is that we're able to, our conversation is able to translate different to different people. Right. But the point of it is the same. Right. We want a healthy understanding. The healthy understanding brings togetherness. Right. The togetherness brings a powerful unit. Right. Right. And the goal is the powerful unit. Yes. But before we get to the powerful unit, we could talk all day about how Black people need to stand together. How the hell am I gonna do that if I don't trust you?
Right. You said disconnected togetherness. What's along that road?
The foundation.
Yeah.
I'm insecure here.
Right. Yep.
How many of us are insecure here?
Yep. Absolutely.
Separation between genders, separation between family members, separation between principles and understanding. Right. There's nothing that's binding us. Right. Because we ain't do the work.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's the whole for me the gist of that whole statement, the whole family, regardless. It speaks against the health of us.
That's absolutely. The point that I looked at when you said that was forgiveness can't come at a cost of your well-being.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we do that where we're around people that really traumatized us or did certain things to us that either can't be forgiven or has been forgiven and not healed or just should not be forgiven. I cannot deal with you. And then you're around this. And you're expected to be because if it's your mother, it's your father, it's your siblings, and it's hard. You know what I mean? It goes that deep. So what do you do in those situations when when your mental health is at stake for this relationship that you were basically born into?
Well, see, that's when the relationship is no longer a relationship, right? So you choose you. Right? The relationship is reciprocal. Right. So it is determined by the actions of both parties from one person to the next. Right. The moment that the agreement is different, when I'm not showing up the way that is necessary for this relationship or the other person's not showing up necessary for this relationship, the contract is null and void. Right. I don't stand with what I don't respect. I don't stand with what I don't appreciate or what I'm not healed from. I just don't. I don't know how to operate in a space that isn't genuine.
Right.
And it can't be genuine if we didn't handle what needs to be handled between
right,
us.
exactly.
Right.
Yep.
So I've been targeted by family members because they're like, oh, she's messing everything up. She don't want to come, and we're trying to get the whole family together. And I couldn't understand that for the life of me.
Right.
Like, how did I become the problem instead of the problem becoming the problem?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like we got to think about the health of of what we're doing and saying when we're dealing with each other, especially if we saying like, yo, we family. Then love me like we family.
Yeah.
Act like we family.
Yeah.
Not even just in my family unit, my friendships. Somebody hurts my friend, they hurt me. They hurt me. So you cannot sit in my face and tell me you love me while loving on somebody who violated me.
Yep.
Do I say that you have to, depending on what it is, absolutely you have to pick a side.
Right.
Depending on what it is. If it's depending on the magnitude of what happened.
Right.
But outside of the major things that are deal breakers,
Right.
then your neutrality should be from a space of how do we healthily fix the issue?
Right.
Not trying to ignore the issue and put two people in the same space.
Right, exactly. So what you're talking about is something that has been a common theme on this show is really accountability, right? And what you're saying is how do I become the problem instead of problem becoming a problem? And I think historically, generation after generation, that has been the common thing. I think in families, period, you know what I mean? But this is about Black culture. But also just a level of fear and what comes out. Because when you really talk about what's under what's behind the curtain, what's under the surface, oh my God. Like seriously? They could get real nasty, and then some people are not willing to bring up those skeletons and bones because it goes deeper, and then it goes deeper.
They like what they gonna touch.
And then it's deep over there, exactly.
What they gonna dig up?
What they gonna dig up?
I don't want them digging up my stuff.
Right, but that's why
that's the whole
individual
point.
accountability is important.
It's necessary to get all your skeletons and make art of them. You know what I mean? Fuck what y'all talking about. Get your skeletons. And create an art exhibit.
Right.
Why? Because the moment that it can no longer hurt you,
right,
nobody can hurt you with it.
Right.
Why? Because the moment it no longer hurts you, you now have a new world that you can actually activate.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's a whole different world outside of that pain.
Yeah.
Outside of that fear. Outside of shame. You know what I mean? All of those things, there's a different world there.
Right.
So, and I know it's easier said, but it's necessary. You know what I mean? I'm just going to talk about what's needed to be healthy. We're not discussing how easy or hard it is. So if you're watching this and you come to the conclusion, oh, she's making it sound like it's easier. I don't give a damn about ease. I don't give a damn about ease. I give a damn about health of things, the right thing to do, what's going to bring us where we need to be. The whole point is progression.
Yeah.
If we're not progressing as a family, we're definitely not progressing as a people.
Right. You said make art of it, and I love that, but everything probably can be a group art project, right? Where everybody is able to handle, the same issues at the same time, because mentally and emotionally people are in different places. You could be somewhere, you're ready to tackle these things, but other people aren't. And I think a way to a healthy family is that individual work, like we were talking about in relationships. If folks are willing to take on their own mess, right, where you're a healthy you for you, it trickles down into the family. You know
I
what I mean?
100% agree with that. I just mean turn your ugly into something beautiful.
That's right.
By growing from it. You know what I mean? By helping others grow from it.
Right.
By, switch the energy around.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because people be on some BS, man, and really comfortable in their BS and just trying to find ways to hide it better. You know what I mean?
Everybody, it's a lot of selfishness within a family. Because of the statement, family regardless.
Right.
You feel like there's no consequences to your actions.
Right.
Like, oh, they're going to be mad, but they'll be all right.
Yeah.
The moment you feel like, oh, I'll be all right, you lost me.
Yep.
You lost me.
Yep.
Because that means that you feel like you can push the envelope with me.
Right.
I don't want to hurt the people I care for.
Right.
I want to respect the people I care for. So as long as you're giving me all the necessary information to show up in that space, I'm going to show up in that space.
You
and
know what I'm
because I hold
thinking?
myself in such a regard, I hold other people into that regard too. Like,
Right.
I need you to show up.
What I'm thinking is that because, I mean, in the family that I grew up in, you don't, there's certain, not passes that family members get, but there's certain level that you just don't take things when it's family. That maybe somebody else, someone else who did it would have been physically harmed. But because you family, just stay away from me. And I'm not, people do play on that, where I'm not going to be physically harmed. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to lose my life, or I'm not going to be seriously hurt. So you push it a little more because it's just going to be an attitude or a temporary not speaking, and then we come back. There's definitely times that I've been given advice of forgiveness because it's family that went against my principles. But at this time when in learning those things, I wasn't solidified in my principles or even able to articulate what they are. You just know what doesn't feel right to you. You know what I'm saying? And so being taught certain things at a young age, it carried, but it still doesn't sit well in your soul. It doesn't sit well in your gut. And then as you get older, you like, yo, man. And then it makes
Start to identify what those things, that feeling is.
Yeah, where it's like, it's hard to hold certain relationships or hold them the same way because it's like, you're not right. And you never been. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or, when people start pushing certain envelopes, you just handle it completely different. But that's the same thing as what was okay when you probably at a different stage in your life. It's different from when you get older and more mature and knowledgeable and knowledge yourself, what we always say.
I actually had women who wanted to date me tell me that they stood away because they knew that they wasn't ready for my type of serious.
Yo.
Right? I appreciated it. Don't waste my time.
Right.
That's the beauty of knowing who you are, standing in it, living in it. People are going to shy away. If they're going to shy away because they can't tap dance on your emotions, why the hell do you want them
Right. And then, but just like an intimate relationship, there's withdrawal, there's missing, there's love. But just because you miss someone doesn't mean they belong there. You know what I mean? It means you're hurting and you got to get through something. You're coming off of a relationship that meant something. We're not sitting here encouraging the disconnection of families. It's just about mental health.
It's the
creating boundaries.
Disconnect.
And understanding the boundaries and us not just sticking to family no matter what. Because it's not healthy.
No traditions for tradition's sake.
Yeah,
Make sure it makes sense. There's this whole, everybody's on the health tip when it comes down to food, when they're hitting the gym. It's so many levels to health.
It's not just about the berries.
You need the mental, you need the spiritual, you need the emotion, you need the physical. It all works in alignment.
Yeah.
The better we get with ourselves, taking care of ourselves, understanding ourselves, the easier it becomes to create the desired world that you want. And within your family, you have people who are distant relatives, you have closer relatives, you have people who you wouldn't choose.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, you have people you wouldn't choose if they weren't family.
That's right.
You have people that you would choose. You like, yo, if this wasn't my sister, if this wasn't my cousin, I still hang out with you.
Right.
And it's important to be able to identify those things because those things really are the foundation of how many chances does somebody really have with me?
Yeah, I don't recommend taking an inventory and saying, if this was my family, I wouldn't deal with them. If that person hasn't harmed you in any way, or you guys have been able to work through things, then that's fine. But I think certain relationships do deserve some inventory checks. Because remember, you and I had a conversation out, not in front of the cameras, just about family, and I was wondering your thoughts about that. And one of the things you had said was, if this person wasn't your family, would you deal with them? Right, so the answer was no, and it's like, all right, well, there you go. When transgressions happen, when certain things happen, when violations happen, you either keep it or you take inventory and figure out what the hell am I doing in this relationship that I didn't choose in the first place.
Obviously, you don't want to just be walking around like, who wouldn't I deal with in this room?
Exactly, right. I'm go to the family reunion, wow. Like, I just got 5 people left.
Because that would be separate. That would be you creating separation for no reason. We're speaking of when somebody violates in some way or pushes against your principles in some way, you should acknowledge is this someone I would choose? You know what I mean? This is my family member, so they was chosen for me, but is this somebody I would really choose?
Right.
Because if I wouldn't really choose them, why am I fighting for this relationship?
Right. And
Yes.
that's the instance I'm talking about when it comes to, am I fighting for this relationship or I'm just distancing myself? That's when the inventory comes in.
And remember that inventory is taken on both ends. So just because you might choose somebody don't mean they'll choose you.
Right.
And you got to be prepared for that as well. You know what I mean? Are you fighting alone?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
if you're fighting alone, you're fighting a losing battle.
Right.
So that whole, showing up just because we're family.
Right.
Nah, we showing up because we have some level of admiration for
Right.
each other, respect for each other, love for each other.
Yep.
We want to, we want to grow with each
Right.
other.
It has to be a commitment on both sides.
Yes.
To foster a healthier, more respectful relationship, it has to be a commitment on both parties, to really actively be in that,
Yep.
space.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything continues to reestablish that everything is reciprocal. So anything that you're doing when it comes down to dealing with others in a healthy space is a reciprocal thing.
Right.
And positive reciprocation.
Right.
I mean, because reciprocation just means give and get.
Right.
We're not saying match anybody's negative energy, but we are saying match people's positive energy.
Yeah.
The people who are actually showing up and showing love, those are the people you should be showing up and loving on.
Yeah, yeah.
We have a problem in our culture, in our families, with wanting the ones who are not showing the same energy back. It's like the ones who loving on us, it's like, all right.
Right. Yo.
And the ones who not loving on us,
Yeah.
we chasing.
Right.
That in itself is a sign that there is something missing within you. When you're chasing the one who is not reciprocating
That's
their
right.
energy.
That's right.
Right?
That's
So pay attention to that.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I wanted to make another one of I really like that point. It did something. About leaders in family, and leaders that are effective communicators. So if there is someone in the family, or if you are that person, and you can help facilitate healthy conversations between family members that may be on the out, and you feel like it's something that that can be patched, or you feel like it's an opportunity for growth on both people, try to bring those family members together and have that conversation, because one thing is that family is important.
It's very,
you know what I
very
mean?
important.
It is. And if it can be healthy, I mean, it's nothing more powerful than that.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we don't choose our families and all that kind of stuff, but if the family unit you were born into, if you guys can have that kind of strength right there, because y'all have a connection that you and a friend would never have. Y'all have a foundation connection for generations, and it's so important.
I'm happy you brought
know
that
what I mean?
Because I want to make sure that they get in that.
Yeah.
That we're not saying that
Nah.
family lacks value
Nah,
at all.
no.
You know what I mean? It's currency, just like culture is
Right,
currency.
right.
Family is currency.
Right.
So if it's healthy,
Yes.
y'all have a healthy understanding, and y'all operating from a healthy space.
That's
nothing gets
unbreakable,
better
baby.
than that.
Nothing gets better than
gets
that.
better
Nothing
than that.
feels better than that. So if you happen to be that person in the family where it's like, damn, these people, they some of your family members just don't have the tools that you have, and you can help heal things, take it on.
Try.
If you're so willing to. Yeah, try.
Get the tools and try to work it out.
Yeah.
Everybody grows at different stages, understands at different levels.
Yep.
But I say it's worth a try, unless it's something you can't come back from, and
It just goes
and
against your
it's-
values
and it's-
so much.
Yeah. Family is people. There's some horrible people.
It's some horrible people out here.
And because
Period.
of that,
It's
you
some
can have
evil people.
horrible family members.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So we don't want you to just make it work with a horrible human.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
That's going to continue with the stuff.
even good people
Mess up.
have error.
That's right.
So when it's that scenario,
Yeah.
work that out.
Yeah.
Work
But
that out.
those evil spirits, man, let them go, man.
I think this was a great discussion.
Yeah. Definitely.
I was wondering how the discussion was going to go, because we've had relationship discussions already.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of stuff kind of repeats, but
Yeah.
there was a lot of really good stuff
Yeah,
here.
that needed to be brought back up, because it's just those traditions, and I know definitely my family, we live by those traditions. And I think
Most of us do. It's a part of the culture.
Yeah,
It comes
yeah.
from great intentions.
Right,
Because
right.
our elders are looking at it from a standpoint of the whole world is against us.
That's right.
If the whole world is against us, we need to be tight.
We need to be tight.
And I 100% agree with that.
Right.
But the verbiage needs to be a little more clear.
Right.
To make sure that we're not holding our people hostage
Right.
to unhealthy circumstances.
That's right, because the people closest to you can hurt you the most. So it's important that we're careful with each other's hearts, because we've been given it. When we came into this world to be together through life, we're holding each other's hearts, and we need to be careful with them.
Handle your family with care,
Yeah.
with peace, love on them,
Yeah.
in the real
Sense of the word.
sense of the word.
Yeah.
And then reciprocate that energy.
That's right.
And then you could live by the understanding of family.
No matter what.
I'm Mahogany,
I'm Ish.
and this is Culture Currency,
Culture.
is the value.
Make sure to like, subscribe,
Share, comment.
and I really hope you're enjoying season 3.
Yes, yes.